Live streaming is on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Few people there.
What?
so is there a way to mute everybody else just so that there's no background sound? Sandy, is there controls that I have here? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so Sankrant, you can, I will mute everyone else. It's there on the top right of each video. If you just hover there, then you can mute everyone else, but you need to log in as a moderator. So
Okay.
if you don't have it, you just let me know. I will mute
I don't know
everyone.
if I'm a moderator or not, but it's fine. I mean, I think
you can become one while you are on this thing.
okay.
So you go to settings.
Huh?
Okay.
Just do login in the profile.
Okay.
We'll do it later.
I think you
have the login, otherwise I'll send it to you.
Yeah. I think it's saved. Okay.
Okay. So then you are also listed as star on your video, and you are also the moderator.
Okay. Excellent. I've been talking about your service to other people, Sandy. Getting people onto it. So
Many people. Okay, please.
okay, so let us see. Shall we get started? Shall we wait a couple of minutes in case other people are joining?
Usually they join.
Okay, and everybody turn on your videos. It's actually pretty important for this session that I can see everyone. In any case, I want to see everybody. And I think we all want to see you. So turn on your videos. I know it's putting yourself out there. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, excellent. See, it's like when you see somebody's face, then you can actually say hello, you know. Without the faces, it's hard. Hey, Bilmal. Hey, Naveen.
How are you, Sankrant? Long time no see.
Very good. Looking forward to having a good Bulla session here. Hey, Anshu.
Sankrant, where are you nowadays?
Hey, Sanu.
Hey. Hey, Nagendra.
VKT is all ready to do pranayam.
Hi, Sankrant.
Hello. Okay, we've got a few more cameras coming in. ज़ैड भाई, आपकी शक्ल नहीं दिख रही अभी तक. मैं बहुत उत्सुकता से इंतजार कर रहा हूँ. ज़ैड भाई को मैं दुबई में मिलने गया था. ओके. बल्लू. Yes. Everybody who can turn their video on, if it is not a difficult place you're in, please do so, because it's going to be much more of an interactive session. It's not a bhashan. So with the interactive session, it's going to be much easier and nicer Puneet bhai.
Sanu bhai, pranam.
Pranam. So yes, it's going to be very interactive. So if we can see each other, it's going to make it easier. Okay, we have Harsh, Abhishek, Zed bhai, हो ना या नहीं हो? सैंडी आपको तो करना ही पड़ेगा, आप तो होस्ट हो.
जेड कह रहा था उसका ऑडियो नहीं काम कर रहा.
जेड क्या कह रहे हैं?
उसका ऑडियो नहीं काम कर रहा था. So let me check.
हाँ, चलो ऑडियो नहीं करे, पहले वीडियो तो चलाएं. और let us see who else. Avinash, Abhishek. Okay, so we're going to get started pretty soon. I'll give it one more minute. Hey, good to see you, man. Vallu.
Hi Sankrant.
यार बड़े हो गए सब लोग. क्योंकि बाकी सबको तो छोड़ दो, ये तो हमेशा हमारा किड होता था.
still a kid. बल्लू 50 हो गए कि नहीं? हाफ सेंचुरी मार ली?
Okay. One more minute and we'll get started.
बल्लू अभी क्वार्टर पे ही है.
Yeah, just made 50, man.
Oh, okay.
Hey, how are you, yaar?
मुझे तो लगा बल्लू तो क्वार्टर पे है अभी.
नहीं यार. Finally catching up.
I think इसके लिए
बड़े होने वाली बात हो रही है. उसमें अनुराग बिष्ट का नाम साइड कर दो.
Some people are perennially young. जैसे हमारे अनुराग भाई हैं और हमारे अतुल भाई हैं. They're like the ageless, timeless dimensions से आते हैं लोग.
नहीं, अनुराग बिष्ट का नाम अलग है भाई.
क्या इसके बाद क्या मुझे तो मरवाना चाहते हो क्या? काला टीका लगा के आना चाहिए फिर.
Hey, Anurag, you look good, man.
अनुराग भाई शुरू किया कि नहीं?
बिल्कुल. इसको मैं क्या मिलता हूँ. बाकी सब लोग बदलते रहते हैं, लेकिन ये टाइमलेस जोन के अंदर रहता है.
Have you started dyeing your hair or not?
Not yet. I know.
Actually,
मेरे बाल इतने लंबे हो गए हैं कि बहुत परेशानी होती है. 2 महीने पहले वाइफ को प्लीट किया था तो उसने काट दिए थे, वो भी काटने से रिफ्यूज कर रही है.
बबुआ, तुम कह रहे हो you started dyeing your hair, वो क्या white dye करेगा क्या?
No, I mean there is this another. I know another person from our batch, Rajat Garg. His hair is all black, all original, nothing. I mean,
Wow.
I'm just amazed.
So is your hair all original?
Let's get started. So, बबुआ कह रहा था कि पहले कुछ कहानी सुना देना कि क्या क्या हुआ इतने सालों में. जस्ट ब्रीफ हिस्ट्री. तो मैं अपनी ब्रीफ हिस्ट्री सुना देता हूँ. कानपुर के बाद टेक्सास में गया, वहाँ पे ग्रेजुएट स्कूल करके माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में पहुँच गया. माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में 9 साल काम करके छोड़ दिया और उसके बाद बेसिकली काम नहीं किया. तो बहुत देर से ठुल्ला हूँ.
ये तो की तरह का स्टोरी लग रहा है कुछ. तो
and then I did other things. I went deeper into this into sadhana, into practice, into writing, into travel, those kinds of things. So that is a different talk, because some people were asking me what is the way to get out of the race, and I said there are 3 keywords, which is I have enough. So these 3 keywords, I have enough, is the path out of it. So today, welcome everybody. Great to see so many people that still don't have their videos on. If you can turn them on now, we're going to start. So it'll be nice if people can share a little bit of what challenges are happening, what's happening in life, where people think that meditation, breath, any of these can be helpful. Just if you feel part of my story was also so I skipped a lot of the part of the story, which is I left Microsoft, but it turned out that there is this notion where you want to be independently wealthy, you don't have to go to work, all of those things, but it's not so. Turns out it's not so fun as we start out. So actually, when I left is when I had problems with my marriage. I ended up having a divorce. Because you have to deal with your own stuff. In a way, the structure that was outside of the work and everything was easier. And when you have to deal with your own stuff, when you don't have to report to anybody, it brought out more things than when I was in the structure. So that's after I went through my divorce is when I encountered for the first time the art of living practice, and then I went deeper and deeper into it, and then I became a teacher of it in 2010. So from 2010, I've been teaching the practice. So yeah, if anybody wants to share what's going on for you, which you think is interesting or relevant. They had, by the way, a very interesting. I don't know if many people got to see it. There was a Psychology Today article that came out very recently, where they did a study of this sky breath practice that we'll get a taste of today in Harvard and Yale. So they did a study in Harvard and Yale. And in the Yale study, they actually tried 3 different things. They had the Sudarshan Kriya practice, they had mindfulness, and then they had this emotional intelligence practice. And they did and then they had a control group. So they did a study of the practice, and they found they were evaluating it on 6 factors in terms of anxiety, depression, overall energy in life. And what they found in the Yale study was that the mindfulness practice didn't actually help in any of the 6 factors. The emotional intelligence practice helped in 1 of the 6 factors, and the Sudarshan Kriya practice helped in 6 of the 6 factors in terms of emotional health and mental health. So this just came out last week, actually. So it was kind of an interesting segue into what we're going to do. So anybody wants to share, you're welcome to share. क्या हो रहा है, क्या कठिनाई है, क्या अच्छा हो रहा है, बुरा हो रहा है, जो भी, whatever is coming up for you, you can share. And one of the things to realize is that the quality of life is determined by the quality of our mind. A very simple example, let's say you're in a beautiful 5-star resort in Hawaii on the beach, but you had a fight with your spouse and your mind is all agitated. Okay. Are you going to be happy in the circumstance even though all the surrounding is very beautiful? Or are you going to be in an agitated state of mind? And you look at
the latter.
The latter, right? So it doesn't matter how beautiful the outside surrounding is. If the mind is in agitation, you're going to be in agitation. And the reverse thing can happen as well. Let us say you are in a slum in Mumbai, okay, and all of the surroundings are dirty, right? And you're teaching a class of children, right? So it's hot, it's humid, everything around you is dirty, but you are feeling internally that you are making a difference, you are making an impact. Can you be happy in that circumstance when everything else around you and the situation and the environment is very difficult? Yes? No?
I'd say yes, but in the short term, eventually that is going to get to you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So maybe in the short term, but at that moment where you're having this feeling that you're giving, these children are learning from you, that you're making a difference to their life, and there's an inner feeling. So even in a difficult circumstance, outside difficult circumstance, it is the quality of your mind that will determine the quality of your experience. Right? The quality of the mind determines the quality of our life. And in all of our education, we never really get to examine the mind, our own mind, not somebody else's mind, not as a psychology project, but to examine our own mind. What is it that is happening in our own mind? And if you'll notice, the mind has certain tendencies. What kind of tendencies? The mind has a tendency to go to the past and the future. Okay, the mind has a tendency to go to the past and the future. What kind of feelings or emotions come up when the mind goes to the past? Anybody? What kind of emotion come up when a mind goes to the past? Like regret can come up.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I wish I had done this. No, regret can come up. What else? What feeling can come up when the mind goes in the past?
A lot of happy memories also come to mind, Sankrant.
Yeah, happy memories can come up. Yeah, that was like, oh, I wish I was there, or a feeling of, or sometimes the mind wants to replay a happy memory in our mind. Okay, what else can come up when the mind goes in the past? Anger can come up about the past. Some event happened, something happened. Yes.
True.
Yeah. So anger can come up in the past. Okay. How about in the future? What kind of feelings arise, or what kind of feeling arises when the mind goes into the future? What kind of feelings can come up when the mind goes into the future?
Again, anxiety. Yeah, anxiety would be a good one.
Anxiety can come up. Unknown, fear of the unknown. Fear can come up. I don't know what's going to happen to me, who's going to take care of me, whatever. Some story can come up. Anxiety, fear. What else can come up when the mind goes in the future?
Hope.
Hope, sure. So this is what is happening in our system. So the mind is going into the past and the future. Some emotion is getting triggered. It doesn't even matter if you specifically identify it, but some emotion gets triggered when the mind goes in the past, and some emotion gets triggered when the mind goes into the future. Now, if you'll notice, each of these emotions also has a body temperature. For instance, is the body temperature of anger hot or cold?
Hot.
Hot. Body temperature of anger is hot. You are your face gets red. You get charged up. The body temperature is hot. How about the temperature of fear? Is the temperature of fear hot or cold?
I'm guessing it's cold because all the hair stand up, just like they do.
Yeah, hair stands up. But there's also an English phrase, I went cold with fear. Right? There's an expression we use, I went cold with fear. So anxiety or fear has this feeling of the heat going away from the body, or a feeling of cold. So what does this mean? Let's go trace the sequence. Mind is going in the past and the future. This is triggering emotions. Emotions are triggering body temperature changes. So anybody had the experience that, we've just sat for an hour, we haven't done anything, but suddenly we feel drained of energy. We feel like energy is drained. It's you order a pizza gets delivered, and then you bring the pizza, it's hot, you put it on the counter, and as soon as that happens, a call comes from your mom. So now you set aside the pizza, and now you're on the phone for half an hour. The pizza has become cold. Now I'll say, okay, you know what, I'm going to eat this later. So you put it in the fridge. And then 3 hours later, you're hungry again. You take the pizza out, you put it in the microwave. Okay, and then when you're about to eat it, you again get interrupted, so you can't eat it, and it goes back in the fridge. If you were doing this 2 or 3 times, will that pizza remain edible? Will it have any freshness?
Likely
yes,
not.
no, right? All of the freshness will go away because we've put it through this cycle of temperature changes. So the same thing happens with us. We go through this cycle of changes, cycle of temperature changes, triggered by our emotions, and we feel drained of energy. We feel, oftentimes we say we don't have time, but the fact is that it's not time that we lack energy. We actually don't have the energy to do a particular thing. So then we figure out some way to avoid that situation or figure out some way to recharge our energy. Okay, and also that pattern of the mind is what creates stress in our life. A lot of times we are attributing stress to external things, but it is our own pattern of our mind which is creating stress. And that pattern of the mind is creating stress, it's creating aging, it is creating health problems. A lot of the health problems that happen to us in this age is related to the stress that we are carrying and we haven't been able to shed. Right? So this is something which is something to examine. Now, everybody, all the gurus, anybody you talk to, new age people, everybody will say, bring your mind to the present moment. Anna? This is the most common passion. Bring your mind to the present moment.
Yeah, live in the present.
Right? Live in the present, bring your mind to the present moment. Present moment is good. Now, the only question is, how do you do this? Right? Because just telling yourself be in the present moment, just saying be in the present moment, does that work? It's like saying, I tell the mind, don't think of pink elephants for the next minute. Whatever you do, don't think of pink elephants. Don't think of pink elephants riding bicycles. As soon as one is told not to do something, what does the mind do? It does exactly that. So you cannot control the mind on the level of the mind. All this positive talk stuff, all of this, sort of rah-rah stuff, it doesn't work. It doesn't work in any long-lasting way because you cannot fix the mind from the level of the mind. So this is what the yogis discovered then. Remember, we were talking about mind going in the past and the future, triggering triggering emotions, triggering body temperature. They also noticed that every emotion has a definite breathing pattern. Every emotion has a definite breathing pattern. How is that? What is the breathing pattern of anger? Do you do short, shallow breaths or long, deep breaths?
The former.
Short, shallow breaths, right? When you're angry about to punch somebody, right? You're going to get into that mode of short, shallow breaths. How about, let's say you went on a nice hike and you finally got to this mountain lake, and now you get to sit by the side of it. You're enjoying the mountain and the scenery and the water. How is the breath going to be? Is it going to be long and deep, or is it going to be short and shallow?
Long and deep.
Wow. I want to breathe in this, right? So I want to breathe in this. My breath is going to be long and deep. So every emotion In fact, in acting schools, they'll even teach this. How to breathe in a particular way to exhibit a particular emotion. So every emotion is associated with the breath pattern. So what the yogis said was, if every emotion is associated with a breath pattern, how about if we are able to use the breath to manage our emotions? Because you can reverse it. Both are linked. If you press a lever on one side, if a button gets pressed, your emotion gets pressed, your breath is affected. But you could also pull it from the other side. You could change your breath pattern, and that could change your emotion. Now, if you're able actually to do this, what does that mean? All of the running around that we do in our entire life is for what? Is to be happy.
Peace of mind.
Right? Peace of mind and to be happy. I mean, the whole shtick is, how can I be happy? How can I get a better job because I'll be happier? Or how can I get how can I get the proper relationship to be happy? But everything is about how can I be happy? This is one of the central questions, central quests and central questions that we have. Right? How can I be happy? How can I be fulfilled? How can I be happy? Now imagine this, if we were able to harness the breath so that we can be in that state of happiness, then we don't need to run around to figure out how to be happy. Using the practice, we can be in that state, and then what we do in life becomes an expression of that happiness rather than a condition of the happiness. Right now it is conditional. When this happens, then I will be happy. When I get my next promotion, then I'm going to be happy. When I get my startup successful, then I'm going to be happy. When something happens, then I'm going to be happy. Right? So we flip that and say, if I can access the way to be happy, then I don't need to have my life be conditioned on something outside me for that happiness, which brings us immense power and also reduces the level of stress we have in our life. Does that make sense? So this is the essence of it's the framework to understand what is the whole point of this breath exercise. Why is breath such a big deal? Right? Because of course now they're doing a lot of scientific studies on this. As I mentioned, they had a Yale study, they had a Harvard study. So on the scientific side, we are now validating what the yogis had said for all these years, that doing this creates this sense of well-being, takes you past your feeling of stress, takes you past feeling of anxiety and fear and depression. All of that has now been tested on the scientific way. But from a very simple understanding, we realize that with the power of the breath, we can manage our mind and emotions. And if we can manage our mind and emotions, that will directly impact the quality of our life experience. Hello. Teach you, you guys want to do a practice? Shall we try it and see what happens? Yes? Okay. So we're going to...
Very good idea to keep your videos on.
Yeah. If everybody can keep the videos on, it will be really helpful, because then I can tell that you're doing it properly. And also, I receive, if we can mute everybody. Sandeep, can you mute everybody, please? Okay, there is a mute everyone. Okay.
Before we go on mute, I mean, do we have to be seated in a particular posture, or I mean, I see people.
Yeah, if you're in a yoga mat or something, you can sit in the Vajrasana, which is on your, on your haunches. Basically, you're sitting in that. But if you're sitting on a chair, you can just be normal. Like if you notice how I am sitting, you can just sit like that. It's fine. But if you're on a mat or something, that you can sit in the Vajrasana posture, or you can sit cross-legged. That's also fine. This one is not going to be so intense. in terms of seating position. So first, I'm just going to show you. Again, if people can turn their videos on, it'll be very helpful, because then I can monitor and see that people are doing it correctly. Okay, I'm going to mute everyone. So if people can turn their videos on, it will be helpful. Okay, so just watch first. This is how this one is called Bhastrika, or bellows breath, Bhastrika. So this is how it looks like.
If you're back, let's have our videos on.
Yes, please have videos on, if
I know
possible.
a bit early, but I'd like to start either early or before time or on time. So.
Okay, so this is the way it happens. You have your hands are in loose fists, and then they go up, and then they open when they go up, completely open when they go up.
One from Bay Area, one also from San Diego.
Okay, wonderful. And then from there you just drop.
Huh? Which one you said, San Diego or both? Okay.
Okay.
Nice to see you again.
I'm just going to mute everybody for a moment.
Birthday in March we had. So.
Okay, so so this is the way it works again. We're going to have our hands in loose fists, and then it goes up, it opens, and then it just drops from there. And it's kind of vigorous. It drops and then it closes.
Asked to come back at 9:30, right?
I mean, at what point are we inhaling or exhaling, or
yeah? So what you're doing is when you're taking your hands up, you breathe in, and then you breathe out from there. Okay, so you breathe in, hands up, open, breathe out, closed. And it's a little vigorous, and when the hands go down, they kind of hit your sides, the elbows hit the sides a little bit. Okay, so breathe in, up, breathe out, down. Breathe in, down, in, out. Let's do it.
You have a computer or an iPad?
And Sankrant, through the nose, right?
Yes, through the nose. Mouth is closed. Mouth is closed. Keep continuing. And now we can close our eyes if we got it. So
if you look as if you've just woken up, which I'm pretty sure is not the case. We just have 4 or 5 minutes, like 2 or 4, so not online. It's not on yet.
And relax, keep the eyes closed.
Nishi, Hemangini, Aman Goya, Pooja, your videos are not on. Saurabh.
Yeah, just relax. Relax your hands. And let's just be quiet for a moment.
What's up with the San Diego folks? Nikhil.
Let's just be quiet. Let's be quiet.
What's going on?
Let's be quiet.
Sorry, Shalin. Many of the San Diego folks, their videos are off.
Okay, don't worry about it right now. Okay, let's just be quiet.
Sangram, Priyam, Nikhil.
Okay, now we'll do it one more time. So elbows are by the sides. Hands are in loose fists.
I don't think big eyes is the issue, is the problem here.
Okay, now again take a breath in and let go, and all together begin. Up, down, up, down,
How are you all?
up, down.
Good. I'm Shalin. Many of you guys might kick off call on Tuesday. And so did you all have a good
And relax the hands. Hands are on the knees. Arms are facing up. Just notice whatever is happening. Notice the sensations. And we'll do it one more time again. Elbows are by the sides, hands are in loose fists. When we breathe in, the hands will go up and open, and then they'll just drop from there and they will close. So take a normal breath in and let go. And all together begin. And relax. Just notice the sensations. Whatever is happening, let it happen. And you may gently open your eyes. Now we're going to go and do a short meditation. So if you've never meditated before, don't worry about it. And if you meditated before, just drop whatever your experience was in the past of meditation. Meditation is very simple in the manner that we do it. Meditation is the art of doing nothing. Meditation is the art of doing nothing. Because all along in life, we're always running around. We're always running around trying to do something. So just for the next little bit, for the next 10-15 minutes, we will do nothing. And then all of our life, we're always playing a role. We're always stuck in some role. Whether it's, we are being a parent, we are being a child, we are being a brother, we are being a sister, we are being a boss, we are being an employee. Whatever the role is, we are always in a role. So for the next 10-15 minutes, we say, I am nothing. So I do nothing. I am nothing. And the third is, I want nothing. So all along in our life, we're always wanting some outcome. Even sometimes when we sit for meditation, we are wanting some particular experience to happen. But for the next 10-15 minutes, I say, I want nothing. So I do nothing, I am nothing, and I want nothing. So whatever I'll say, just take my instructions also lightly. I'll be guiding you through the meditation. So take my instructions lightly, like Seattle rain. It's just falling gently. and just follow very gently. And if the mind gets lost in thought or whatever, it's totally fine. When you hear my instruction or when you remember my instruction, you can follow it. Okay, there's no strain involved. If you get lost, it's completely okay. Okay, so let's sit comfortably and easily, and let's close our eyes. Become aware of the noises around you. Become aware of the noises around you. Maybe distant sound of cars, vehicles. Maybe birds are chirping. Many different sounds from the environment. Sounds inside the house. Maybe there's a whirring or a sound of an appliance. Let all the sounds be there. Accept all the sounds as they are. And relax. You are now in harmony with the environment. Take a breath in and let go. Become aware of your body. Your body is a precious gift from nature, from the divine. Love your body dearly. Become aware of your feet. Ankles. Calves. Knees. Thighs. Genitals. Stomach. abdomen, chest, become aware of your hands, forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, neck, face, the top of the head, become aware of the whole body, the whole entire body. Take a breath in and let go. You are now in harmony with your body. One more breath in. And let go. Become aware of your thoughts. Bad thoughts. Become aware of them. Do not try to stop the thoughts. Let them be there. Thoughts are rising and falling. Like leaves floating down on a river. Thoughts come and they pass by. Let them come. Become aware of your thoughts. You are now in harmony with your thoughts. Take a breath in and let go. Become aware of your feelings. Whether pleasant feelings or unpleasant feelings. Become aware of them. Do not try to resist your feelings. Let them be there. Become aware of your feelings. Accept all your feelings as they are. You are now in harmony with your feelings. Gentle breath in and let go. You are peace and joy. This is your nature. Once again, become aware of your feelings. If any. Become aware of your thoughts. If any. Become aware of your body and surroundings. And when you're feeling ready and complete, taking your own time, without any rush, you may open your eyes. Would like to share? Anybody want to speak? What was it like? Notice the state of your mind from when we started talking less than an hour ago to the state of the mind now. Notice if there is any shift in the state of the mind. So, anybody wants to share? You can unmute yourself though if you try to talk, because it's muted. How was that?
It was very good, Sanu. Thank you for doing this.
Hmm.
A question. Can you do this in Shavasana, or do you have to be upright?
Not the meditation, not the meditation or the breath practice. It is much better to do it seated, because as we practice more, what happens is there is a fourth state of consciousness. There are three states of consciousness that we normally encounter, which is a waking state, sleeping state, dreaming state. These are the three states. There's a fourth state called Turiya Avastha. What happens if we meditate while lying down is most likely we will not go into Turiya, we will go into sleeping state. So because Turiya Avastha actually has a awareness, but it is kind of like sleep, but it is awareness. So that's why we prefer not to lie down in this particular.
So, Sanu, I did it in Shavasana, and
okay.
I also felt. Yes, I did. I also felt very relaxed.
Sure. So relaxation can happen even in Shavasana. Relaxation can happen, but if we are going to go deeper into the meditations, then it is better to be in a seated position. That's why if you load the classic yoga posture was always Padmasana for meditation, right? Because the spine is erect and a certain kind of energy can flow through the system. But don't even worry about that right now. What is the state of your mind? Just people, anybody want to share their experience? How is the mind from when we started to what is now? Anybody notice any difference? Zed bhai?
I feel calmer, definitely.
What?
It feels much calmer than before.
Feels much calmer.
Yeah.
True.
What else? Anybody else?
Yeah, I feel much more relaxed.
Yes.
I could witness the emotions coming and thoughts coming, but I was like a bystander and watching those thoughts coming and going. So that was a very nice feeling. Yeah, I was a part of the thought process, but at the same time, I was apart from those thoughts. I could see they are coming and going, and then I bring my consciousness back to my body or my breath. So I was having that kind of experience.
Sanu bhai, how long was from the start when we closed our eyes and started breathing in to when we opened our eyes? How long do you think that was? 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 10 minutes, less, more? I don't know, because what helped me was, usually when I've tried to do this on my own, to stay focused has been an issue. But the fact that there was a sequence that we followed, the harmony with your surroundings, the harmony with your body, that with your thoughts, that with your feelings, and the reverse process, kind of helped me stay focused and not distracted. I mean, even with the thoughts, it just helped me stay focused. Is this something that you do when trying to meditate on a regular basis? I mean, here the voice was guiding us, but on your own, do you follow a similar sequence all the time? Sanubai, if you're speaking, I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear you. Did we lose him?
I think his frame has frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not moving and he's not able to hear us probably. I think his computer is booting.
Okay, we'll give him a few minutes.
Oh, I can't hear Sankrant. I don't know about the others.
No.
Yeah, his frame is frozen. You can see that. It become like a picture. Maybe some problem with his computer.
Maybe Babu, you can take over the moderation.
I think he's signing back in. How many of us otherwise practice meditation on a regular basis? I struggle too, which is why I ask.
This was my first time.
I do. Yeah, I do yoga, and as part of yoga, we do we close with shavasana. So that's my meditation, but it's not as detailed.
I enrolled in Art of Living classes about a couple of years back. So there is a community of Art of Living practitioners. So there is a specific breathing technique that is called Sudarshan Kriya. I'm sure Sanu Bhai will talk about that. So once a week we do Sudarshan Kriya together, and that happens through the Zoom meeting. For that, you have to have participated in the course at least once. If you have done it, then you become a part of the community, and then you do it together every week. So that is very helpful. So it is going to happen at 4 o'clock for us. We will be doing it again.
Sankrant may be back. At least I see him attempting to get back. Let's see if
people can hear me.
Sankrant, we can hear you now.
Okay, awesome. So little technical difficulty. I think it's awesome. We are using Sandeep's software. But I've been very pleased. Okay, so we were talking about. So we meditated for almost 20 minutes, which is quite remarkable because people were able to stay with it. And then before that, we did the breath practice for about 5 or 6 minutes more. So the total duration was about 25 minutes for me. You were asking that question.
Yeah. So you heard part of my question, so which is actually pretty remarkable, because the reason why I asked was that, I was able to stay with it throughout, not having to open my eyes once. And I was asking, when you do this on your own, do you follow the sequence? The fact that there was your voice guiding me through the process, all the way from the harmony to the environment, to the body, to the thoughts, to the feelings, and the reverse course all the way through. Is this what you follow on your own when you do this on your own?
Yeah.
On a regular basis?
So what we do is, let me tell you a little bit about how the workshop works. So in the workshop, I teach this practice called Sudarshan Kriya Yoga, Sudarshan Kriya or sky breath meditation. What happens is, right now we got a taste of the meditative state. But as you mentioned, Puneet, a lot of people have trouble in getting to the meditative state and in staying there because the mind goes all over the place. So the Sudarshan Kriya is this breath-based practice where there's a rhythmic breathing pattern that we will learn. And that rhythmic breathing pattern takes us to that state of meditation without effort. So it automatically brings us to the state of meditation. And this is the practice in which they've been doing all these studies that I was mentioned in just now in Harvard and Yale and other places. We have a big veterans program called Welcome Home Troops, where we are teaching it to the vets and people who haven't slept for a year are finally reporting that they're able to sleep. Yeah. But the Sudarshan Kriya practice takes about 8 hours to teach. So it's a 3-day workshop, and it's 2.5 hours each day. So it takes about 7.5 to 8 hours to teach that practice. And then once you learn that practice, you get a home practice, and then you are on your own. You're free, you don't have to sort of come back to the workshop. You get the practice, and then you can do that for a lifetime. And the Sudarshan Kriya practice is based on these rhythmic breaths. So the first part of that we experienced a little bit with that Bhastrika breath, but that's just the preliminary part of it. Well, as I said, the entire practice takes about 8 hours to teach. So it's fairly involved and intense. And once you've learned it, though, then you can practice on your own in about 20 minutes every day. So every day in the morning, I'll do my practice, and then I can do some of the meditations. And that doing it every day is where the life transformation happens. And that was my experience. That the shift in the mind happens through that practice repeated, over a period of time. And that shift is where, if you think about it, we are like in our 50s. We've spent 30, 40, 50 years working, and we have maybe 20, 30, 40 years on the planet, right? So this is our planetary journey. But have we taken the time to unplug from that journey and be able to have a perspective on it? And that practice of the breath really allows us to drop the stuff, and that's that stuff that is causing our stress. It's the stuff and the comparisons in the mind and all of this stuff, and the trauma or whatever happened, incidents happened in the past, anxieties about the future, patterns of behavior that are limiting us. All of that stuff is what drops, that helps to drop.
So, Sankrant, I have a question. Sorry.
Yes, please.
So, is there a physiological basis? I know there's been a lot of studies of brain while people are in meditative state, and so I mean, are you aware of some research on the biochemical and the mental processes that get improved as you go into meditation?
Yes.
I mean, it's now the scientific world definitely understands the advantage of it. What is the latest in terms of the research around that?
Yeah, there's actually a very recent Scientific American had a big article on this rhythmic breathing. I think they called it cardiovascular breathing, something. They're giving it fancy names, but they're basically calling pranayama and Sudarshan Kriya into all these different names. But there was a recent Scientific American article. What they're finding is, in the ancient Indian understanding, this whole system is connected. Our body, our breath, our mind, our emotions, this whole thing is connected into one whole, right? But in the scientific paradigms, they had all been looking at it separately. So it was only till the 60s or 70s that they acknowledged mind-body medicine, that they realized that the mind was actually having an impact on the body. So more and more now, recently, they are saying, okay, how is the emotion connected to the breath, right? So they're doing it in bits and pieces, so they don't have that full vision. From the Indian perspective, we are saying we have a body, and there are these 7 layers of existence. We have body, breath, mind, intellect, memory, ego, and self. So there's the 7 layers, and what we do in the Sudarshan Kriya is we are tuning and harmonizing these 7 layers. And it's the disharmony in the layers that causes health problems. It's the disharmony in the layers that causes, mental health issues. It's the disharmony that causes stress. So the entire practice of the Sudarshan Kriya is how do we harmonize these levels? How will science understand it? Science, as I said, is understanding it as in bits and pieces. So they do some rhythmic, they do some breath practice and say, okay, we notice that endorphins are created, or there is this thing and this happens. So they're able to measure certain chemical changes that are happening. And so they are able to see the changes, but they don't have a full model of understanding them. That's where it is right now. And so any other questions on Sudarshan Kriya?
Sanu, Zed has asked a question on the chat.
Okay.
Is there a difference between an online and a face-to-face kind of instruction?
That's a really good question, actually, because we only started teaching this course online after COVID happened. And I was very skeptical when I first started teaching it online because we had only taught it in person. And I was like, how would this experience ever be replicated that we had in person? But after now having taught maybe 5 courses online and seeing the impact on the people, I can say based on the experimental verification that this actually works just as well online. So just amazing, remarkable results that people are seeing online.
Isn't the feedback limited? From your point of view, you don't totally see me or someone else doing exactly what you want them to do.
Yeah, but that is what I was telling people to have the video on in the workshop. It's a requirement, so I wouldn't let somebody in the class if their video is not on, because I do need to see that they're doing, because the technique is also more involved and complicated. So I need to see that they're doing it correctly, and also having it on their face so I can see what stuff is going through it. And it also is, what I find is really remarkable. Once one is kind of the teachers see teaching the practice, there is some flow that happens, which is not, where there is, like it's almost like the teacher is not really there. There is some flow of the knowledge or wisdom that is flowing through. So it's not like my stuff. It's just something that is happening. And then one is able to connect using that flow to everybody in the class and makes it much easier. And so I think the next workshop that I have scheduled is on August 27th through 29th. I just put a link in the chat, and it will be absolutely wonderful to have people do it. It's 3 days, 2.5 hours each day, and based on my own experience, I did it in 2006 the first time. It's been life-changing for me. And it's almost like, why would I not do it? There is no reason to not go and experience it. I mean, if it doesn't work for you, that's totally fine. But there's absolutely no reason to deprive yourself of the experience of it.
And how many people attend at the same time, Sanu?
Pardon me?
How many people are there in one
24. I limit it to 24. Because the nice thing is at 24, I can see everybody on Zoom in one screen, and also I'm able to connect with everybody in the room. If it gets much more than that, then it's hard to have a personal connection with everybody. So I limit it to 24 people. So whichever 24 people sign up first on this, but then we'll do more workshops also. So. But yeah, I would really urge everybody, take that opportunity, experience the practice, and then you can always at the end of it make up your own mind in terms of how you incorporate it into your life. But at least get the technique. And the other thing that I was mentioning was, of course, all you guys know, I used to be constantly sick when I was in IIT Kanpur. This was the thing about it. And of course, there is some colon thing that, even in the LM thing, I got a little bit sick. But for years and years since I do the practice, all my regular cold stuff, like all this stuff of being in this sick thing, it's not there anymore. It's just vanished. Lot of people who got breath things, complete remission of that. There is also a lot of the mental, like normal. Doesn't have to be mental health thing, of course, because stress everybody is carrying. A lot of huge difference, and I can share some studies. I think there's like a whole. I think what's AIMS did a lot of studies, and the Nimhans Institute in India has done a lot of study now. The institute in India. So, I mean, from a scientific point of view, Sriram, there has been a lot of data in terms of the effects of it, but their total understanding of how it works is still lacking because the scientific model is limited. They're still they're still reductionists. They see things in pieces. From the Indic perspective, it's from the Indic perspective, explaining it is very simple. From the Indic perspective, we are saying when you are in ego and you're feeling separate, you have stress. And when you drop out of it and you connect to Atman or you connect to yourself, then you're feeling this sense of connection. And the Sudarshan Kriya practice is allowing you to access that level where that connection happens. And from that level, things become much simpler. You can drop the outer. So that's the explanation from the tradition. But the science doesn't have a model of the self. So they can't really understand it right now, which is the challenge.
So you are based in Seattle right now, or
I'm based in Seattle. And so anybody who's in the US, this link should work very easily. People who are outside the US, if you're in India, it's easier to, or I guess anywhere outside India, you can do the course, but if you're in India, it's easier to sign up with the workshops in India, and probably also less expensive. But if you're in the anywhere outside India, then you can sign up to this one. Yeah.
Hey Sankrant, I don't know if this is intentional or not. It looks like you're a frame, and your picture is very well framed, and it's.
No, it wasn't intentional, but yeah, it looks like I'm well framed there. So, okay, Zed Bhai, so good to see you. Lot of credit to Zed for making this happen. Actually, Zed was a driving force.
Zed's voice is not coming through, but he's typing that he's thanking you, Sanu, and he appreciates the time that you spent with
Yes. I hope you're going to. I'm going to see you in the workshop, Zed, because it's a lot of fun. So, in fact, it would be really nice to do a workshop of people of our. If people in our group are there, it'd be so wonderful to just do a workshop, and we'll be able to go into our stories more and what's happening in our life and all of that together. So I hope. Yeah.
So other people who practice this in this group, how do you feel about this? I mean, does it work for you, or how?
Yeah, are there other people here who've done it? I don't know if there are.
I don't think there are too many of us who have tried.
Right.
Asad writes that he is going to try, and then he'll report on his progress, I'm sure, in the upcoming
weeks. Yes. So yeah, absolutely. Just go and sign up. If there's any trouble, just draw. I'll put my WhatsApp number also. Most of you should have it anyways, but I'll put it on here.
I have a question.
Send me a message. And yes.
So one of the issues with the meditation is getting this feedback. Like, how do you know you're actually progressing towards that, that ideal meditative state? I mean, it's like an oscillation kind of thing, right? And for me, it goes all over the place. Because as you say, it requires practice.
Yes.
How do you? I mean, if there's some feedback mechanism, that would be great. I mean, saying, "Oh, this is
Sriram, you're all."
Yeah, I think it got everything got muted. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good question, and there are two ways to look at it. One is that you plant a seed and you water it, right? And over time there will be a tree and there will be fruit. And so this is what Patanjali says in the Yoga Sutras. Patanjali says in the Yoga Sutras that, in fact, the very first, it's very interesting, we started talking about the mind in the beginning. The very first line of the Yoga Sutras is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is managing the tendencies of the mind, right? And then Patanjali goes into a lot of detail, and then he says, how does this change happen? Which is what you're asking, Sriram. How does the change happen? It happens through practice, done sincerely, without break, for a long time. Through practice, done sincerely, without break, for a long time. So now the sometimes the challenge, especially when we start off with, it's like we plant the seed and then 2 days later we want to dig it up and see, is it growing yet? You know, and so like every 3 days we dig it up and say, is it growing yet? And that's where the challenge comes. So what I can say is, from my own experience, if I look at my life in the last 10 years, I mean, it's really like, it's almost like unrecognizable, because just the lightness by which one can move, the lightness, and you know, all the stuff that bothered me and all the patterns of the mind, all the comparisons, who's doing what, who's successful, who's not successful, regret, all of that stuff, you know, it's like, it's very interesting. In the Sanskrit, there's a phrase, miyati ati maya. That which is measured is maya. Mm-hmm. And if I noticed my own mind, it is stuck in measurement of some kind. You know, I'm measuring what my stock did. I'm measuring what, you know, some measure. We've pinned our happiness to some measure, which is happening. You know, I got this promotion, I didn't get the promotion. I got this revenue, I didn't get this revenue. Some measure we have created. And the process is to unplug from that mind, which is stuck in this measurement. In that sense, that is, you know, that is a sense of what the Maya is also. And so is there like a, I mean, in the tradition, there is actually, I mean, in the tradition, there are specific touchstones that you can say, okay, I'm enlightened even. There is a specific processes that you can go to verify that, right? But from my perspective, I can just see the change in my life. I can just see the change in how I'm able to relate to people. How, you know, it's very funny. One time I was driving. This is some years ago, maybe 8 years ago, 9 years ago. I was driving. I had 2 kids in the back, and I was getting angry about something. And so my children asked me, "Papa, did you do your Kriya today?" and it was so funny, because actually I hadn't done my Kriya, but it was like, even it's noticeable to the people outside that your quality of interaction changes, you know, when you're doing the practice. So that's, I think our time is pretty much up. Any other quick questions?
Well, I just wanted to second this Sankrant's experience with what all I learned, because I started some form of meditation when I was in 12th grade. And I did it for a couple of years in IIT also, but then I fell very sick. And when I recovered, I didn't start the practice again. So, but you know, these days I have started doing it occasionally, off and on. But the comment about it is, meditation is not a goal, it's a practice.
Yes.
So whatever state you are doing it, the fact that you are practicing it is what makes it. You know, it doesn't matter if you are having a particular feeling, if you are having a sensation, you are not having a sensation, somebody else is feeling something different than you when you do it, it does not matter. But still you practice and you still benefit from it.
Yeah, it's very true. So much. Thanks, Nagendra. I think the other thing that I really noticed was that the getting to a daily practice is hard. Actually, people might not realize. I did many different techniques before I got to this one. I was in this thing called the Gurdjieff work, which is influenced by esoteric Christian teaching. Gurdjieff was an Armenian Russian mystic of the early 20th century. So I learned Sufi dervish dances. I learned other kinds of yogic meditation practices. So I did many different practices from around the world. And what I found was that I didn't get to a daily practice. Even though I learned so much, it was difficult to get to a daily practice. And what the Kriya helped was, because it is breath-based, in some senses it's mechanical. The mechanical nature of it allows me to do it no matter what the state of the mind is. Because it will bring me to the state of mind no matter, if my mind is agitated, it's going this way or that way, because it's a physical, mechanical process. And to me, that allowed me to make it a daily practice, because I always used to get an energy shot. It was like a daily coffee, like I'd always get the energy shot no matter what the state of my mind was. So this is one reason why it's, the sky breath meditation, the Sudarshan Kriya, for me turned out to be much more effective, because even though I learned so many esoteric meditations, I never did them. Like I never did it on a daily basis, basically. So there's no point, as Patanjali says, there's no point. You can learn it, but if you don't do it daily, it's not going to change your life. It's not going to make a difference.
Hey, Sankrant. So
Yeah.
I'm curious about if you ever talk to Shirish, and if you do, how do the conversations go?
Yeah. No, I would love to talk. I never met him, actually. I did go to Kolkata one time, I think, and I couldn't meet him that time. But yeah, I would love to have a long conversation with Shirish. I think it'll be really fascinating, because all of the paths are here. It's like, the Ashtanga Yoga, if you look at it, it's all these different flavors. All these paths have different flavors of that same journey. So yeah, I think it'll be very fascinating to talk with him. So
Sankrant bhai, thank you very much. This was a wonderful session.
Thank you so much. Our time is up. And thank you.
Thanks, Sanu.
Hey, yeah, thanks a lot, Sanu.
Okay, thank you, Sanu. Bye.
One
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
interesting thought that comes to mind
Tell
is
me.
that one person who went into this meditation and a yogic state is Shirish, who everyone expected to go into it.
Yes.
And the second person who went in was Sanu, who no one expected to go into it.
I know. That's right.
Last
Yeah,
person.
दारू वारू पीना, वो सब क्या होता था, right?
Right.
Thanks, Babua, for setting it up.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night and good day.
Okay, bye.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Sanu bhai. Thank you,
Okay.
Vishwa, for arranging. It's just a great day.
I'm going to sound like a salesman, but I'm going to say this: sign up sooner rather than later, because what happens is, when the mind is in a good state, it's much easier to make a good decision, and then you're going to forget and it's going to go away. So just go to the link, sign up. I promise you, it's going to be a good, amazing experience. Okay, talk to you. Bye.
Thanks.
Will do.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Is that अपना कंप्यूटर नहीं करना?
Thanks,
Audio वाला.
Vishwa.
Yeah, okay, bye. Hey, Zed, you're the only one in HD. I think YouTube is higher resolution. Okay, yeah. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Vishwa.
Yeah, bye.